Here we're going to have a look at the Sleep-and-Charge technology made by Toshiba. The Sleep-and-Charge technology was introduced with their 300 series of computers like the P305 and M305, and it is still in use today with their current line of satellite computers. And before we talk a little bit about the Sleep-and-Charge, let's talk a little bit about something that's related to it or is involved with it. Now, any computer that is up and running or in standby will provide power to its USB ports. And in today's world, a lot of our devices are both powered and recharged through a USB port, like using an iPod or portable music player, cell phones, anything like that that can be charged and powered through a USB port. And for example, we've got a USB powered cooling fan and a USB light here. And like I said, any computer that is on and running or in standby mode will provide power to its USB ports, but once you turn that computer off or put it into hibernation, it will no longer power those ports. So you gotta look for like an AC adapter or something like that if you want to charge your USB powered device. Now, with Toshiba Sleep-and-Charge, you still get to be able to do all that by powering the USB when it's in standby or when it's turned on, but when you've got the computer also turned off or in hibernation, it still keeps the USB ports powered up. So this allows you to have the laptop turned off or in hibernation and still be able to power and charge your USB devices off the computer's USB ports. And to prove that, we had the Toshiba E105 here. This is one of Best Buy's Blue Label laptops that they made. And Toshiba denotes their USB ports with the Sleep-and-Charge technology by putting a little lightning bolt next to the USB sign to indicate that it's a Sleep-and-Charge port. And there's 3 on here. There's one on that side, one here, and then there's one with the eSATA port. This is an eSATA USB combo port. So we have our USB powered lamp here, and the laptop is in fact turned off. There's no indicator lights lit. It's not in standby. It's not turned on inside or anything like that. The laptop is fully turned off, but I do have the Sleep-and-Charge technology turned on right now in the BIOS. We'll talk a little bit about that as well, because there's different modes and settings for the Sleep-and-Charge technology that Toshiba uses on these. So we've got a USB powered light. So I can shine. We'll plug it into our port and it lights up. And that's being powered off the battery used for the laptop, and it's still got the USB ports powered up while it's turned off, and it's powering this 3 LED USB light. And we also have our Thermaltake mobile fan, which I actually looked at in another video. We'll plug it into the other USB port on this side, just toward the back, and now we got that running too, and that's being powered off the battery and that as well through that USB port. And it's got full power. It does not limit the power to the USB ports at all with Sleep-and-Charge. All the USB ports have full power, just like if the laptop was fully turned on. So you can power high load USB devices off the Sleep-and-Charge as well as being able to use low drawing devices like a charger for your iPod or something like that, portable devices. But high amp devices like these can still be used off of it just fine. Now, talking about the different Sleep-and-Charge modes, there's 2 modes to the Sleep-and-Charge technology, and there really is no documentation or anything that tells you exactly what the different modes do. Now, you have mode 1, which is the mode that you would typically use for the Sleep-and-Charge that pretty much will handle powering any devices. Now, if you've got a device that will not charge off the USB port, now the reason I say charge is because something that can be regularly powered like this shouldn't have a problem. But if you've got something that requires charging that won't work with mode 1, you may have to switch it to mode 2. Now, the only explanation they give you for using mode 2 is that if the device doesn't work with mode 1, use mode 2. Well, that doesn't tell you much of the reason why. My guess is that it's the way that the USB ports are being signaled, and that kind of has to do with how Windows recognizes devices plugged into a USB port. That gets pretty technical, so we're not going to get into that. But an example of one is kind of like one of the cell phones that I looked at in a video, the Motorola Moto Razr 2 V9. That one requires the Motorola drivers to be installed in Windows and have the computer running in order to be able to charge the phone up. Otherwise it will not charge, even if you plug it into the computer. So now, of course, I haven't tried that, but I would assume mode 2 would be for something like that, where it can sort of emulate that it's just a regular power source instead of a USB port, because if you plug it into the AC adapter it comes with, it'll charge fine. So that's kind of my take on the difference between mode 1 and mode 2, just how it signals how the USB ports are signaled for knowing when the device is plugged in or not. But that pretty much talks about the Toshiba Sleep-and-Charge technology. Just the Sleep-and-Charge is a feature that you find on the Toshiba portable computers that allows you to be able to power and charge any USB device off the USB ports without having to power up your computer. It's a pretty handy feature, and I haven't seen it on any other portable computers, because I haven't seen it on any HPs that I've looked at. They do exactly what I said earlier in the video. You can either power devices from those computers if they're powered on or if they're in standby, but once they shut down, that's it. You can't get any more power from them. With the Sleep-and-Charge, you can still go ahead and be able to use that even when it's turned off. So that is the Sleep-and-Charge technology.